Can you actually change your reality? Not by jumping timelines or teleporting into another world, but by changing what your brain focuses on, what it remembers, and how it rewires itself. In this video, we'll explore the science behind what many call shifting reality, through the lens of neuroscience, attention, and neuroplasticity. You'll see how every new thought, emotion, and habit literally reshapes the structure of your brain, steering which version of life becomes real for you. And if you want to go even deeper, this episode builds directly on two earlier videos: Parallel Reality Misconceptions and Quantum Superposition, how infinite possibilities exist at once. You can find both linked in the description below. Because what quantum physics explains at the subatomic level, infinite possibilities waiting to collapse into one, neuroscience reveals inside your mind, where focus and repetition decide which version of reality your brain makes real. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to rewire itself. But what if those changes could also rewire your reality? Your brain changes every time you think, feel, or act. The question is, are those changes keeping you stuck or creating a new reality? Every thought you repeat leaves a trace in your brain. Over time, those traces shape the world you live in. So what reality is your brain building right now? Here's the truth. Shifting reality isn't magic, and it's not science fiction. It's biology. Your brain is always rewiring itself, and those changes decide which possibilities become real in your life. Let's start with a story that shows how this works. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Alvaro Pascual-Leone at Harvard Medical School asked two groups of people to practice a simple piano exercise. One group physically pressed the keys every day. The other group only imagined playing. They never touched a piano. After 5 days, brain scans revealed something shocking. Both groups showed measurable growth in the same motor regions of the brain. In other words, imagining the movement changed the brain almost as much as doing it. This is mental rehearsal. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually do. That's why elite athletes, from Michael Phelps to Olympic gymnasts, visualize their routines before competing. It's not daydreaming. It's physical training for the nervous system. Why does this matter for reality shifting? Because if rehearsing a piano exercise can change your brain structure, rehearsing a new identity or future self can change the way your brain wires itself for action. You're laying down the pathways for a different version of your life. Now let's go deeper. The brain is not just a collection of wires. It's an electrical organ. Every thought, every emotion, every image you hold sends out measurable electrical activity. Electroencephalography, EEG, records this activity as brainwaves. But beyond that, researchers like Michael Persinger and later Andrew Newberg explored how changes in brain activity also create shifting electromagnetic fields around the body. These fields are not mystical, they're measurable. And while the research is still developing, the evidence suggests that when your brain enters coherent states, calm, rhythmic brainwave patterns, your whole system becomes more synchronized, more open to learning, and more adaptive. That coherence is exactly what happens during mental rehearsal. When you hold a clear picture of yourself, not as you were, but as you want to be, your brain and body begin aligning to that picture. Dopamine circuits prepare for the new reward. Stress hormones drop. The immune system calms. The door to new possibilities opens biologically, not just metaphorically. Take another example. In rehabilitation medicine, stroke patients who combine physical therapy with imagery, mentally rehearsing moving their arm or leg, recover faster than those who only do the exercises. Why? Because the brain rehearses the movement ahead of time, and the body follows. The inner rehearsal lays the track for the outer change. So what happens when you apply this to your life? Imagine you're rehearsing confidence before giving a presentation. Instead of just hoping for the best, you close your eyes and visualize yourself walking in, speaking calmly, feeling grounded. You repeat this for a week. By the time you step into the room, your brain has already run that pattern dozens of times. Your body recognizes it. The likelihood that you perform confidently skyrockets, not by magic, but because your nervous system has been primed. This is why scientists like Pasquale Leone, Richard Davidson, and Andrew Newberg have shown that mental rehearsal and meditation are not passive. They are active interventions that shape brain circuits, hormone levels, and even long-term personality traits. And here's the deeper implication. When you mentally rehearse a new identity long enough, I am healthy, I am calm, I am creative, the brain begins to accept it as familiar. What was once imagination becomes the new baseline. And because your brain predicts based on familiarity, your perception of reality shifts to fit that new identity. Now combine this with what we know about choice. In the 1980s, Benjamin Labott showed that brain activity prepares for a decision milliseconds before we consciously register it. Later, John Dylan Haynes found brain patterns predicting choices seconds in advance. It seems our unconscious mind is always running slightly ahead. But here's the key. What you repeatedly rehearse influences what your unconscious prepares. If you've practiced confidence, your unconscious will lean toward confident choices. If you've practiced fear, it will lean toward avoidance. So shifting reality isn't about jumping between universes. It's about biasing your brain and body toward the version of life you want, until it becomes your lived experience. This is not speculation. It's the science of neuroplasticity, memory reconsolidation, and brain-body coherence. It's how imagination primes circuits, how focused attention shapes what your brain predicts, and how rehearsal brings tomorrow's self into today's nervous system. But there's an even deeper layer beneath all of this. In quantum physics, possibilities don't collapse into reality until there is interaction, what's called measurement. Before that, a particle exists in a superposition, many states at once. Kunal Das, in the Quantum Rules, 2015, explains that this is not just an abstract math trick. Reality itself remains fluid until something selects one outcome. When you think about mental rehearsal, it mirrors this quantum principle. Your brain holds multiple futures, just like quantum superpositions. Each time you imagine a confident self, a healthier self, or a more creative self, you're holding that possibility in your mental field. And when you repeatedly focus on one of those futures with attention and emotion, you bias the collapse. Just as in quantum physics, where interaction brings one outcome into reality, your attention and rehearsal bring one version of yourself into lived experience. So the real message is this: you don't need to jump into another universe to change your life. Your brain is already equipped to rewire itself, and with it, the reality you experience. You can open the door to new possibilities by repeatedly rehearsing the future you want until your brain and body recognize it as real. Here's a mantra to carry with you. All possibilities exist, but my brain decides which one I live. If this resonated with you, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who's curious about the science of change, and subscribe for more explorations into the brain, quantum physics, and consciousness. And I'd love to hear from you. If you could consciously rewire one habit or identity in your brain, what would you choose first? Let me know in the comments. Your answer might inspire someone else on their journey. And remember, this video focused on the science and theory. In the next video, we'll go practical. I'll show you step-by-step how to use meditation, visualization, and micro habits to actually reprogram your brain and steer your future. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Today we've explored the science and the theory. But in the next video, we'll go practical. I'll show you step-by-step how to use mental rehearsal, breathwork, visualization, and small daily habits to reprogram your brain and shift your trajectory. And I'll share a free PDF with a daily practice you can start immediately. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, and drop a comment if you want that practical guide. And remember this mantra: all possibilities exist, but my attention and my rehearsal decide which one I live. If this resonated with you, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who's curious about the science of change, and subscribe for more explorations into the brain, quantum physics, and consciousness. And I'd love to hear from you. If you could consciously rewire one habit or identity in your brain, what would you choose first? Let me know in the comments. Your answer might inspire someone else on their journey. And remember, this video focused on the science and theory. In the next video, we'll go practical. I'll show you step by step how to use meditation, visualization, and micro habits to actually reprogram your brain and steer your future. Subscribe now so you don't miss it.